Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone.
Hello, guys.
Should we do first a bit of an introduction on why we are here, apart from my orange hat, maybe?
Yeah, let's do it.
Salvo, go ahead.
All right. Hello, guys. I'm Salvo. I'm the co-founder of Open Labs. And what we do, we make Web3 companies go viral. We work with KOLs. And we are in the process of setting up our first content creator house in Web3. And I mean, why about Ordinals? I got into the space, actually it was summer 2023. So at the very first beginning, before Ordinals became such a thing. And yeah, like here, like to talk more about this, to understand whether this is like just like a hype stuff, or it's gonna long last in the future.
Amazing. Yeah, a bit about myself. So I'm Marco. I'm the partnership and KOL manager at Cookie3, and well, we are Web2 and Web3 Google Analytics style for, of course, Web3 companies, and we're soon gonna launch the first KOL marketplace. And the reason why I'm here, Salvo need a hand? No, joking. Well, Ordinals is fascinating. I'm more from the ETH NFT and Solana NFTs, but I've seen the Ordinals coming up, and I'm very curious to see if it's just a new playground for people with a lot of liquidity on Bitcoin, or if there is actually something there. So I think it would be good to know how many people here have an idea about Ordinals. Let's say, what's your knowledge level? If you can raise your hand if you have an Ordinal. Okay, that's good. Okay. That's good. For who doesn't have an Ordinal, do you understand more or less what it looks like and why are we talking about this? More or less. Okay, not that much. So maybe, do you want to give a bit of an introduction of what is an Ordinal and why it is important?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, like in rough terms, an Ordinal is just an NFT on the Bitcoin blockchain. But like the Ordinal Maxi don't like the word NFT because actually Ordinals are inscribed in the blockchain. That is quite different compared to NFTs, which is just an IPFS. So yeah, in rough terms, an Ordinal is just an NFT inscribed in the blockchain that can be is actually immutable.
Okay, so an Ordinal is we have these JPEGs inscribed on blockchain which cannot be changed. Instead, like on Ethereum and other blockchain, usually is just a link to a website where you can see your images. But I think what is beautiful about Ordinal is this different cultural. It came from of course, the Bitcoin. Yes, join us. Hi, everyone.
We finally got our Ordinal
we
Maxi
have,
here.
An Ordinal Maxi, so we can have a bit of a background. You were here on the panel just before, right?
Yeah, we spoke about Tiny Vikings just like maybe an hour and a half ago. And yeah, I am an Ordinal Maxi. I've been in the Ordinal space since like January, and I have over 100,000 inscriptions. I've been inscribing from a long time ago, and I kind of understood what Bitcoin was gonna be, and I just didn't want to miss out. And it was one of those things that it feels like 2009 on Bitcoin, right? There's 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis, and I understood that right away. You had to just take advantage.
So maybe this is something like I want to take the other side. I like Ordinals, right? But for me, seeing from the outside is just like all these Bitcoin Maxi, all Bitcoin OGs. They have a bunch of money now, and now they found a new way to play with this money and buy JPEGs. Yeah. Why it is different instead from what is happening on the other blockchains?
So what's different on this is that you're storing it on chain forever. It's not being stored on IPFS or AWS. It's being stored on Satoshi. And this Bitcoin and all this infrastructure that have been built, like Ordinals, Runes, is like the high level class casino. And this casino is being stored on chain forever.
Okay. Do you think, Salvo, that with Ordinals, are we able to instead bring in more people into crypto? Do you think there is a play there where more people actually value having their JPEGs inscribed on chain?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Bitcoin is the mother chain, and I think personally that more and more people will get into Ordinals compared to NFTs, just because Bitcoin is a very well known compared to Solana and Ethereum, to basically normies. And something that is peculiar about Ordinals is provenance. Something that is very, very important. It's more of a cultural movement. A lot of Ordinals projects, they don't promise any utility compared to Ethereum NFTs. It's just heart, pure heart, and people buy them because of provenance. And yeah, mainly because of this. I think Carlos can resonate with this, right, mate?
Yeah, no, a lot of the OG Ordinal projects are just build organically and let the community kind of build. But there's going to be another side of Ordinals that like you'll see like different companies, layer twos, solutions coming into Ordinals, building on Ordinals and runes and like making that token part of their ecosystem, or they'll just build on chain. So like there's a vast variety of different things that are building out on Bitcoin. You'll see like different categories being out on Bitcoin. You'll see like DePIN being built out on Bitcoin. And how do you store DePIN information on Bitcoin is going to be one of these big like phenomenon, and using that as like the storage layer on how you like stare like decentralized data on there, right? So that's the most important thing.
That's sick.
Yeah, would you say that, from an outside perspective, when new people come and look at the space and, NFTs are fairly easy to understand for someone that is not into crypto because it's just, yes, it's art, it's fun. And now we have seen also with meme coins and runes also coming to Bitcoin. Do you feel that Bitcoin will be the first touch point for these new people coming into the space, or would they explore more other chains? What do you think, Salvo?
I mean, like, I think, right now, Bitcoin, ETF has been approved, and Bitcoin now is on the spotlight, right? So, like, more and more people that are not into crypto are seeing that. So, I believe that, Ordinals will probably be adopted more than NFTs, simply because, Bitcoin is there with, in the public side. So, probably people will be more keen to actually explore Ordinals because of Bitcoin. So yeah, but I'm curious to hear if you have like a counter view on this.
No, I agree. So in general, Bitcoin has a good, not only cultural value, but also has been essentially approved by the general media and the general public that, we're not just here playing with the internet money, but there is something there. We don't really know what is that yet, but we have large funds, pouring a lot of money into the space. With, of course, Bitcoin ETF has been approved, and we have other ETFs coming up fairly soon. So definitely I can see how Bitcoin could be, the safe haven of people just joining to the space, and they want to kind of learn more about the space, but still like not being degen on these like low market cap, NFTs and chains.
Yeah, and I'll add a little bit into that. Like in onboarding to Bitcoin, because a lot of people originally had Bitcoin, it's easy just to like transact from that. And like you use like simple like apps like Cash App, Revolut, Venmo that people already use, and Bitcoin's already like established in those infrastructures of Web2 normies, right? So like taking your money from like your credit card, not going to Coinbase, and using these simple apps are like the bridging. You don't have to go and go to a centralized exchange and teach them that. The centralized exchange is already Cash App, Revolut, Venmo. So that's why Bitcoin Ordinals is actually going to make a difference, because the onboarding is very simple.
Yeah, I've seen like in the last 3 to 6 months has been much easier to get into Ordinals. I remember over the summer it was just madness to actually buy an Ordinal and just get involved in these new things happening on Bitcoin.
Yep. Actually, I remember, I basically joined Ordinals in 2023 summer at the very beginning, where there was, a nice integration with the Magic Eden, it was like a Uniswap wallet, stuff like that. The Uniswap marketplace for like BRC20 was a bit crazy. People didn't know how to sell. Actually, create like some guides, because it was a bit complicated, and that was hard for normies and Web2 people to get into that, despite they knew Bitcoin. It was just hard to, buy Ordinals and sell them. But now I think there's been very good developments with Magic Eden and the Xverse, which is, like the main Ordinal wallets. So, I mean, you can buy and sell Ordinals very easily, like you do with Ethereum NFTs or Solana NFTs on, OpenSea or Blur.
Yeah, I was trading Ordinals on spreadsheets when we first started, okay, guys? So, like, the infrastructure, like, sending Bitcoin to a Taproot wallet where you store your Ordinals was simple, but like actually like tracking your Ordinals on like an infrastructure level was not built there yet, because like the technology was just released in January. So like the only thing you could do was just kind of put it in an Excel sheet and track it. But like we are not there anymore, like, right? So like we've seen this like major improvement from like infrastructure players like Magic Eden, Xverse, Unisat, OKX, Binance is coming. So like the big players are here, and it's only Coinbase, right? So that's the whole thing. So when Coinbase gets there, you guys don't want to be playing around with Coinbase. You guys want to be there before Coinbase gets there, okay?
What do you think is coming after all this? Like in the last 9 months, we went from zero to basically
Yeah.
did everything catch up with the rest of the other ecosystems? Like what's next?
Yeah, I think it's so like we have runes, we're gonna see like AMMs, like we're gonna see liquidity pools being created, and that's gonna be like one of the biggest challenge in Ordinals, because it's that's what's gonna sweep a lot of liquidity from a lot of these chains like ETH and Solana, which are layer twos to Bitcoin, guys. You guys have to understand that ETH and Solana are layer twos. The whole purpose of it was just to take all this liquidity and bring it back to Bitcoin and grow the Bitcoin ecosystem and continue this decentralized chain that we wanted to live on. So yeah, the next move is liquidity pools on Bitcoin, and yeah.
What do you think, Salvo? What's coming next?
I mean, like, I will throw some stats because I remember when I got into Ordinals that, I mean, despite Bitcoin having a market cap that is, I think, like, what, a 3-4x than the one of Ethereum, then, you know, like, the total market cap of Ordinals was just, you know, what, 5 to 10% compared to, like, the market cap of Ethereum NFTs. And I mean, that's such a bullish factor because, you know, like, now that, you know, Bitcoin got in the spotlight, due to the approval of DTF, yeah, I think, you know, like more people will get into Ordinals due to the integration that we talked before with Magic Eden. And, you know, market cap compared to Ethereum is just so low. So I think there would be like more like buying pressure into Ordinals as more people will get into that, driven by, you know, like, you know, easier infrastructure that allow more people to get into it. And, you know, as Carlos said, you know, like, there will be like more integration. And right now, there are many more developments that are going to happen into Ordinals compared to Ethereum, you know, like liquidity pools and stuff like that. I think, you know, we'll see this very soon.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that like Bitcoin is the OG chain, right? But we are seeing like there was basically a stop of development of anything built on top of Bitcoin. But in the last couple of years, it's basically like a new cycle for what we see maybe in 2017 on ETH or 2021 in Solana and all the other chains. So we are bringing like all these applications built on top of Bitcoin. So is 2024, 2025 the Bitcoin cycle?
Oh yeah, the supercomputer is going to be built on Bitcoin. So like you see all this scaling that you're trying to do with layer 2s and layer 3s on Ethereum. We're going to use these top layer chains like ETH and Solana to actually complete that scalability on-chain on Bitcoin. And you'll see this development, right? Like the next meta right now is runes, but the next meta is going to be layer 2s, scaling, trying to scale Bitcoin in an efficient way. But there's two chains that already are proven that could be that like counterpart to layer 2s, which is ETH and Solana. And they will both have use cases on how they will scale Bitcoin over the next 5-10 years, and then there will be other chains that will try to be doing the same thing. So like this scaling of layer 2s like Blast, all these chains are just test blockchains to actually do it on Bitcoin.
I mean, in the end, Ethereum was kind of, you know, raised as a sort of like, let's experiment stuff here first and then bring it to Bitcoin. But then it just never happened, at least for a few years, right?
Yeah, and like one of the things about Bitcoin is it's very simple. Like having Bitcoin is like, you have to keep it simple. So like the smart contract functionality on Bitcoin is not needed because you don't want to have exploits on Bitcoin. You don't want to lose your gold. Your gold is valuable, right? Bitcoin is gold. So like having the Bitcoin as a security level and then in bridging over to Ethereum and Solana, when we still have sort of trust, we could confirm our complexity functionalities by using smart contracts on those chains and then coming in and confirming that transaction on Bitcoin. So yeah.
Yeah. But, okay, I have also to take a bit the other side, right? What are kind of the risks that you see coming up? You know, what can go wrong with all this scaling factor, with all these new applications built on top? Do you see, Salvo, any sort of risk in the Bitcoin ecosystem coming up in the coming years?
I mean, like if there is an integration with smart contract, there will be like the same risk that there are like on Ethereum. So like hacked, you know, like a protocol being hacked and people like losing money. So I think that's one of the main reasons why I think Bitcoin maxes don't want to, you know, like are against Ordinals and stuff like that, because they probably see that if there are like developments on the smart contract side, there will be like, you know, like some hacks and stuff like that. They just want to keep a Bitcoin as pure as it is, as, you know, pure gold. So, I mean, Carlos, actually, I'm very curious to hear your take on this because, you know, like you're like a Bitcoin maxi, but you're also an ordinal maxi. So you probably, you know, like understand both sides. But how do you see that? Because some people just want to keep Bitcoin as it is, as pure gold, as you said. But then, you know, like you can't stop the progress. And, you know, ordinals are progress, right?
Yeah, no, so I want to keep Bitcoin simple. I want to build on Bitcoin on chain and not change Bitcoin's like natural traits. And that's feasible. That's impossible. So like Bitcoin is also going to have to be scaled. And we have proven chains like Solana, Ethereum. Those are the layer 2s that I want to do these complex functionalities because Bitcoin has 4 megabytes of space on the block space. And that's very limited, right? And you have to optimize that space. So building on-chain like smart contract, we're not being smart contracts and not having the attack vector that you could get exploited. That's very important to me. If you bridge it out and you scale on another blockchain and have it confirmed back to Bitcoin as a security level, that's okay in some cases. So it's all case by case basis on what you want to like build. So like I think having a layer 2 to Bitcoin needs to be Solana or Ethereum. And those are because they're proven blockchains. But you could also build on-chain Bitcoin with like if you just keep it really tiny, guys.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. I think this conversation was amazing. I can see our time is up. After this talk, how many of you are gonna buy an Ordinals? If you can raise your hands. Amazing. We convert some of you.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Great job, Carlos. So everyone is convinced.